Brilliant play by Charles there. Looking along the line, Erling's running offside and just sticking his arm up, looking at the linesman, but still running back. Brilliant play.
A brilliant game from City, and they've moved ever closer to another league title. They've beaten second place Chelsea by 3-1. Oscar Bobb with the opener. Kian Breckin with the most important goal, really the second one that knocked the stuffing out of the visitors. Carlos Borges quickly added a third, and though Kieran Slicker made a brilliant penalty save, seconds later Castledine pulled one back, but it was too little too late. Chelsea cannot now pip the Blues to the title. They're 9 points above Crystal Palace, who are in third with 4 games left for Palace to play. The Blues now need 3 more points to become the champions once again. A quite brilliant victory, and it's, well, a quite brilliant weekend for Manchester City. A 3-1 win for the under-18s in the Manchester derby yesterday that keeps them at the top of the table. A 3-1 victory for Pep Guardiola's City against Leicester, and now a 3-1 victory for the elite development squad against Chelsea. Well, let's take a look at how this game was won. Galvez involved as he was so many times, combining with Carlos Borges to set up Oscar Bobb for the opening goal. It came after a period of City dominance, and it broke Chelsea, who up to that point had given as good as they'd got. And then the decisive blow in the second half, the second goal, which was so key. Again, Carlos Borges and Thomas Galvez combining, and this time Kian Breckin weighed in with a decisive touch. 2-0 to the Blues. That knocked everything out of Chelsea. They were a beaten side by this point, and a very swift third was added. Carlos Borges from an Oscar Bobb layoff, an assist and a goal for for Oscar Bobb, I beg your pardon. Carlos Borges, City's top scorer, ensuring that the 3 points were the Blues. There was still time for a penalty save. Kieran Slicker with a terrific penalty save to deny Castledine from the spot after Shea Charles was penalised. Brilliant save here, but unfortunately for him, 30 seconds later from the resulting corner, Chelsea did finally get their goal, but it was too little and far too late, and City had the 3 points backed. So the Blues have knocked Chelsea out of the running. They're 9 points ahead of third place Crystal Palace. Palace have 4 games to play, so the Blues are now a victory away from winning the title for the 3rd season in a row. A terrific afternoon, and alongside Shaun Goater, who's just run down from the commentary position, we can join Natalie Pike.
Big thank you to Alistair Mann there for the excellent commentary as always, and a huge congratulations to City as they beat Chelsea in the Premier League to 3-1. We know now that means City need just 1 victory from their last 3 games to retain their Premier League 2 title, and indeed make it 3 in a row. Now, apart from the players, of course, out on the pitch, the busiest man in the Academy Stadium today has been Shaun Goater, as he has run down from his commentary position to join me. Shaun, what a thoroughly enjoyable afternoon.
Yes, it was a really good play. If there's anything disappointing, it would be having conceded a goal, having saved from the penalty. But again, a really thoroughly brilliant performance, because again, we're playing against a Chelsea team, had some real good quality players and certainly dynamic players in their front line. But again, a huge win for the boys today.
I was a little bit surprised there wasn't more celebrations, but I guess perhaps they're a lot calmer than me. They know they need 1 more win from the next 3 to secure the title.
Yeah, I listen, within that dressing room, they'll be bouncing. They'll know what a huge win it was. But you're right, it seemed a bit, we won against Chelsea, a little bit not as excited as we would be, but at the same time, I know within that dressing room, they'll be absolutely buzzing.
So the second half, City 1-0 up at half-time. The second half, quiet start to it. But then, in a 2 and 3 minute period, City blew Chelsea away. So City's second goal came in the 58th minute, Kian Breckin. So Oscar Bobb plays it wide, then a low cross into Kian Breckin, who turns it 2-0. We know how good he is. We know how well he's been playing recently. But that was just a perfect timing to get that second goal.
It really was. And Kian was talking about him earlier in terms of his role as an 8. Can he get up there and support, but also was breaking up play. His timing of the run to get into that area. The ball comes across so fast and so firm. He just knows he needs to make some contact. He makes a nice loose side foot contact, and I'm sure he's pleased. So having played with his father, I know his father will be pleased with that one.
You played with his dad?
Yes, Ian Breckin, some years ago. His dad was a centre back, so his dad didn't have nowhere near as much ability as him.
Well, only a few minutes later, City made it third and effectively finished the game. That was in the 60th minute. So Carlos Borges wins the ball back. Oscar Bobb involved. Carlo Borges involved. Scores his 18th goal of this Premier League 2 season. Phenomenal. The two of them linking up again, Shaun.
Yeah, I mean, I talked about their relationship throughout the day. Their relationship, the two of them, when they get into the box, they're always looking for each other. And also Mabuda as well is another one. These guys' relationship, you see it on the pitch, but again, this is the time they're linking up. They flash it across, and he's there. Absolutely brilliant play. And I love to see their relationship because, again, sometimes I'm thinking, is he going to shoot? And they just see their teammate. They see each other on the corner of their eyes. Say, I know you're there. And they just slide each other in. So lovely to see that third one go in.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed watching the two of them today and the way that they link up together, the way that, we've seen different assists and scorers in each half of the game today. It's wonderful to see the partnership like that blossoming. We don't see too many like that anymore.
Yeah, it's only interesting. I'm aware of it because I saw it around the dinner table and how they're having laughs and stuff. And then when I'm looking on the pitch, I'm saying, it was Mabuda at one point, and it was a really acute angle, and I thought, wow, is he going to shoot? And I thought he was that close. He was literally like around the corner of the 6-yard. So he's really close, but he's actually looking to pass to his teammate, and that tells me, those are signs that tell me that, you get on really well with your teammate, and you go, here, there's a chance for you. So we saw that throughout the game, them linking up, the three of them linking up in little combinations. They're really exciting front three. They really are.
Now, the next big moment in the match came on the 84th minute. First of all, I want to talk about the penalty decision because I was sat with a perfect view of it, Shaun, and I'm not having that as a penalty any day of the week. Yeah,
it's one of those where the ball's just bouncing between them. The two of them are trying to get their body in front of the other, and with that contact, the Chelsea player goes over. I honestly would say that there's some refs that will give it and there'll be some that don't. This ref gave it, and so therefore we have to get on with it. Slicker, I was sitting there thinking it would be a shame not to get the clean sheet because we've essentially deserved it. He's there on his line, saves it, brilliant save because the penalty struck really well. He gets a hand to it, and some 30 seconds to a minute is a corner. From that corner, disappointing thing is that they're able to get themselves inside the box. He flashes a shot across. And I think it was the penalty taker who was actually the one that actually taps it in the far post. So from Slicker's point of view, I know he'll be absolutely livid that he's just saved the penalty. And 30 seconds later, conceding a goal from a corner where the player's been able to come inside the box and get that close to goal. So, but generally a really all-round good performance from Slicker and Go and also the rest of the team.
Yeah, I think it was really unfortunate because in terms of a goalkeeper saving a penalty, he did it so well. He got down so fast and so low down, diving down to his left-hand side. It was a really great save. So then it just felt like a right kick for him 30 seconds later from the corner from the save to concede that goal. But if we isolate the penalty save on its own, Shaun, it was a fantastic save. And obviously I would say that because he's Scottish as well. So we're bigging up the Scotland under-21 keeper as well, Shaun.
You'd have a bit of haggis tonight, eh? But it really was because the penalty was struck really well and in that corner, and he gets down there, he gets something on it. And the one thing after you saving a penalty, the keeper, the first thing they're saying is, listen, let's be sharp, let's be bright, let's be on it. They play a loose short corner, they manage to get themselves inside the box, and I'm stood up there in the gantry and I'm thinking, can we get some sort of deflection on it to get it clear? Can we just see this point out? But it flashes through because he struck across the inside the 6-yard box, and he's just free there at the far post. So it was just disappointing because I think it was 2 or 3 opportunities to put up a better resistance, as opposed to fall for the cross. That was the first bit, and then when he gets into the box, perhaps just having a bit of patience and standing up and saying, I'm not going to dive in. But in saying that, listen, they can't fault the players. They were absolutely brilliant today. And I tell you again, inside that dressing room, Bruyne will be very pleased. Craig Mudd, the assistant coaches, they'll be pleased. Brilliant performance.
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, slightly disappointing, frustrating to not have the clean sheet. But overall, a 3-1 victory against the team in second place in the league. We'll definitely take that. Now, we've had a chance to speak to one of today's goal scorers. This is what Oscar Bobb had to say after the game.
Okay. All right, well, Oscar, that's a cracking game and a cracking performance. What are your first thoughts straight off the pitch of that?
We're all very happy. We knew it was going to be a very tough game against one of the best teams in the league, and obviously coming out on top is great. It was a solid performance, but I still think we can improve.
Oh, really? How do you think so?
I think the last 30 weren't as good as the first 60, of course, and just that aspect of controlling the games when we're winning, we definitely need to improve on.
Yeah, I mean, that opening first sort of half an hour or so was so close. Like, how do we deem that on the pitch where it really could have gone either way?
Yes, I think we were prepared for it, and what Brian says a lot is that it's in those tough moments that we really get to test ourselves, and I think it's about enjoying them, and I think we did today. And as soon as we got the first goal, I felt like we were flowing better as a team, and in the end it was a good game. Yeah,
and of course it was you that scored the first goal. How delighted are you with that?
Yeah, I was very happy. Great cross from Carlos, and very happy that I could put us up.
Yeah, you two linked up really, really well throughout that whole game.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, well, going into half-time, obviously it's still 1-0, still very close. Like, what was the message to you players at that half-time break?
Well, it was mainly about how we could control the game better and not make it as end-to-end and get on top, kind of. We spoke a lot about being more patient and, in a sense, just controlling the game more, which I thought we did, at least for the first 20-25 of the second half.
Yeah. Well, you got those 2 goals coming into it, so how do you even turn it up a level from like what we saw in that first half as well?
Yeah, I think, again, it's about being patient. First half, we were trying to rush it down either side with the wings, but second half, we were trying to switch it more and get some possession in their half.
Yeah. Okay, well, 3 games to go. Only 1 win needed left for the title. What are your thoughts going into the final few games of the season?
Well, we're excited. I think it's a great position to be in. And, it's a lot of competition in the squad, so we train hard to try and get a place in the starting lineup.
Yeah. What would it mean to you, actually, to win another Premier League 2 title?
No, it would be great. I think this team and this club, we've done very well the last couple of seasons, and it's an honour to play for this club, and it would be great to win the Premier League 2 again. I think.
So that was the thoughts of Oscar Bobb after the game. Of course, one of the goal scorers today as City beat Chelsea 3-1. Question there for him, Shaun, about, so close to retaining this title again for the 3rd time. We know that Palace play Monday. We know that we've got to win essentially 1 game from the last 3, and City will retain that title. That would just be, we touched on it at half-team, but a phenomenal achievement for the players and for the academy as well.
Yes, it would be absolutely amazing, and be interested in the mindset that, does Bruyne says, listen, does he go into the game and say, listen, forget everything around it. It's 1 game we've got to deal with, and we need to perform. I wonder if that's going to be the mindset. Or would the mindset be, listen, we all know it's an important game, a big game, and almost add to the pressure of the expectation. It'll be interesting to what advice he'll give to the players, but be absolutely phenomenal in terms of being able to retain it 3 consecutive seasons. Just shows you that everything that City are doing is absolutely right, spot on, and how we're developing the players and how we're getting the players used to playing in big games, performing in big games, and delivering. So, what's that? 3 games to go and needing 1 win is a brilliant position to be in.
We're hoping that we might be joined by Brian Barry Murphy very, very shortly. If he comes out of the tunnel, we're going to grab him and we're going to speak to him live. So City might end up winning the title next weekend, Shaun. We have an away game at Blackburn. It'd be lovely then, 2 games to just enjoy it and come back here and just to celebrate. That would just be wonderful.
Yes, and thinking about today's game in the last 10 minutes, I saw there was a point where the players were enjoying it. And I can imagine if it's 1 and we've got 2 games to go, the players will be really out there enjoying it. But also being respectful, because City's about respecting the opposition. So I think Brian wouldn't want his team to go out there and be showboating to a degree, because then you start to disrespect the opposition. But could they go out there and just perform well and show everybody why you're the best?
Now I can see him out of the corner of my eye now. He's coming round with hello. Here he is. Hi. We are live.
How you doing? All right.
Congratulations today. Thank you so much for coming and joining us live now. What's it like in that dressing room just now? You're on the cusp of winning another title.
Are we? Yeah. It's very. The lads are very excited and they're very pleased, and probably one of them days where you can't put a lid on it, because they just deserve to be. I think enjoy the performance and the feeling of beating a team who they have so much respect for. I think. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I mean, the second place in the table, and by the end of it, it was a very convincing win. You must be really proud of all your players.
Yeah, hugely proud. I thought we spoke at half time about the level of test was probably the most difficult we've faced at home this season. So to overcome that, bearing in mind how dangerous the opponents are, was amazing for the players. And I thought in the second half our style was everything we'd want to see in a team representing our club, and our attacking play was pretty incisive when it needed to be.
Oscar Bobb, obviously is a player that plays wide, or you played him wide. Seen him play false 9. What was he thinking behind that today?
Really, Shaun, he's somebody I think at this club the players kind of fit the profile of being number 8 or number 10, and then they have to be able to play 7 and 11 as well. So Oscar can do all those roles and has to. And I suppose playing number 9 was probably a result of wanting to get Mike Hamilton in the team. So Mike we think is an exceptional number 10 as well, and Oscar ends up kind of being the one who didn't play there. But he's had a lot of games where he's played in his preferred position, number 10.
Yeah.
I think he got cramp quite late, so I was giving him a bit of stick for
that.
Yeah, I didn't like the look of that.
You was mentioning about second half, and my initial thinking was that Chelsea would be trying to come out a bit faster. Is that something you mentioned to the boys?
Absolutely. I mean, we in the corresponding fixture, Shaun, on there, they were so aggressive and put us under so much pressure in the second half after a relatively similar first half. Yeah. So for us to show so much composure and I think understanding what was needed in the second half, I thought we were pretty good in terms of how we got in behind their last line and created good chances. And I was pretty impressed with what we did in the second half.
You mentioned as well that the need for your attacking players to be able to play in different positions. It was the same for your defensive players today. Of course, Finlay Burns was out injured, so we saw Shay Charles playing in that defensive position. Is that so vital to your team that you have the players that they are able to slot into different positions when needed?
Yeah. I think, Natalie, we see a lot of clear examples at first team level. So Bernardo will be a specialist number 8 or 10, but has to play 7 or even left back, which is the same as Oscar has done. Oscar's done the same thing for us. Yeah. So at our club, the players have to be, I suppose, of a specific profile, but then be able to do different jobs. And Shay Charles, the idea this year was that he played as many games as possible at number 6, and we've seen the fruits of that and how he's developed. But also has to be able to play centre back whenever needed, because he was always that before he started progressing into our level of football. And he's equally adept at both, I think, really. So it's very useful for him to have the ability to play both roles.
You know how close you are now to 3 titles in a row. I feel like you don't want me saying that quite yet.
New experience for me.
Palace play on Monday night. Will you be watching that game?
No, I won't be watching it. No, joking aside, we see a lot of the manager here speaks about this insistent on the next game or the next training session because of how dangerous it is to start thinking about something else. And we saw towards the end of the game, the level of competition is so high that Chelsea score a goal, and before you know it, there's a scramble in the box, and then it's 3-2, and then you're starting to look at the scoreboard and time, and it becomes a very difficult cycle. So we watch a lot of what our first team manager says about the next game being all that matters, because if you get that wrong, then it can be a problem, and I think it's a very relevant way of working for all of us.
You mentioned that towards the end of there. We should give a mention to Kian Slicker as well, because it was an absolutely fantastic penalty save that you made.
Brilliant, yeah. And I thought Chelsea were always providing a difficult enough test for them to score a goal, and they probably scored later than deserved, but there was always that feeling in my mind that they could score, and when they did, then you always have that nervous kind of couple of minutes where if they get another one quickly, it can become very difficult psychologically. But the players manage that well, and probably better than we have done in games previously, so it's good for them to kind of understand what's needed in that moment.
I just had one more. The players seem to have this real good friendship connection. I've seen it a little firsthand, sitting in the cafeteria and all that. But when I look at them, I see that friendship is all really tight. The times when players could actually shoot on acute angles, but they're looking for each other. Is that something that you're pleased that they have this sort of bond as a team?
Yeah, I could probably speak for 20 minutes on this topic, Shaun, but I won't. No. I think so. The way that the club and myself, I think, feel about this is that at this stage of their academy journey, they're almost preparing for the next stage of their career, which is in men's football. So you're almost trying to create a real common goal amongst themselves, where if they come up from the under-18s to play for us, or they come back from loan like Alex Hobson and Ben Knight, they have that sense of being part of a real tight-knit dressing room and having to play for each other and respect each other. And if we can start to see clear evidence that is the case, and everybody's kind of on a level playing field, because again, at the top of the club we see very clear examples of players who train their best play, and I think the players understand, and it works really well for them because it's a very clear process to understand. I think it's important.
I'd love to talk about that for 20 minutes as well, because it's absolutely fascinating. But yes, I think I would get in trouble. But you could see what Shaun was mentioning, and we talked about it. Carlos Borges, Oscar Bobb Shaun mentions have a great relationship off the pitch. What a phenomenal relationship those two have on the pitch as well. Yeah,
and probably an example of what I mean, Natalie. These players get a lot of attention for what they can do in terms of scoring and assisting. But again, I suppose the critical part of their development is how they can feel part of a team and do the defensive side of the game for what's required at this club and elsewhere. So to see them improve that side of the game is probably the most satisfying thing for me, if a little boring and probably not what they see is the most important, or maybe people on the outside, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thank you so much. I guess, so for you, concentration moves now. Blackburn away next Sunday, a week of preparation for that one?
Yeah, obviously preparations for the big game on Wednesday, whatever we can do to help the preparation from a first team level. Our lads are very aware of how important our needed day will be for that, and then move on to preparation for Blackburn, because they beat us quite comprehensively in the reverse fixture here. Quite an experienced team, and we found it very difficult. So it'll be good to see if we've found better ways of dealing with that in the return fixture as it is on Sunday.
Congratulations today, brilliant performance, great result, and best of luck for the next 3 games.
Yeah, thank you, exactly.
Congrats.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Lovely to see you. Thank you so much. It's Barry Murphy speaking to us live there. I love that when we grab someone live. It's nice, isn't it, Shaun? Just to get instant reactions.
Yes, and Bruyne is he knows his team in depth, but I love he gives really good answers in regards to detailed answers, not just sort of yes and no's. I love listening to him and having conversations with him as well the odd time in and around the academy.
Yeah, I could have picked his brain there fully about the way that the academy fits into the first team. I thought that was really interesting when he mentioned that, because I hadn't even considered how they would be involved with the preparation for Bayern, obviously. Yes,
very true. The fact that he's able to watch and observe sort of first team training sessions, have conversations with Pep about things, not looking too far ahead. That was insightful for me, that Pep is sort of speaking about not getting too far ahead in games and stuff like that. So some really good stuff. And Shaun, thank you, because you have been absolutely non-stop since 11 a.m. Up, down, up, down. I don't think you've had a break. You must need the toilet and a drink. Are you okay? I'm okay. I'm just about managed. I'm all right.
Well, Shaun Goater, thank you so much for joining me. It's always an absolute pleasure. And as Brian Barry Murphy mentioned there, of course, our next big game for the club is Wednesday night, the second leg of our quarter-final in the Champions League. A 3-0 lead we are taking across to Germany as we take on Bayern Munich. I'll be in the studio here alongside Steve Howie and Steph Horton. We're sending that lucky kid FG out there to Germany. He's going to be pitch side in the Allianz Arena. He'll be getting us some extra special content. So 6:40 on Wednesday, join us. Champions League quarter-final. Can we get to the semi-final again? And don't forget as well then, next Saturday it is the semi-final of the FA Cup. We take on Sheffield United at Wembley. There are tickets available for that now. So congratulations to City as they increase their lead at the top of the Premier League 2. Next Sunday they take on Blackburn away, and then with a win, they could be crowned Premier League 2 champions again for the 3rd year in a row. What a week of football we have ahead of us. Thank you for joining Shaun and I on Matchday Live today. We'll see you again on Wednesday.